Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Variant Cast. We are fresh off a Marvel movie, which means I am joined here by Trent, the man who has not missed a Marvel movie since that one Fantastic Four movie that got canceled in the '60s.
It's facts.
How you How
doing
you
good.
doing, Trent?
Coming off a Marvel movie and a finale, so we got a lot to talk about today.
It's gonna be a MCU heavy show, so if you're into that, make sure to stick around. We're probably gonna start off with some Invincible. Why don't you let them know what we got today for them?
Yeah, as you said, we're gonna start off with some Invincible, and then we're gonna jump into some Loki, and then after that, talk some Marvels because that just came out, and then get to some headlines that I got for you, Ty, and then we'll end with a couple movie reviews.
Heck yeah! So, just jumping right into it, like just straight into it. Invincible episode 2 is what kind of went through, and it was a pretty good episode. I mean, it kind of goes without saying when it comes to Invincible, the quality is gonna be there. But what did you think of this episode? And where do you think it's going?
I liked it a lot. I seem to like the direction that the series seems to be going. It seems like it's kind of expanded on last season. The cast seems to be a little bit bigger, and I feel like we're getting more time to know each character, and I'm really liking it so far.
Yeah, I love that. With Eve's powers, I think everyone kind of has the same thoughts. It's like, oh, she could just like change matter. Isn't she like a god? Can't she just like end world hunger and all of this stuff? And you kind of get to see that elaborated on, and I really enjoyed it. I liked I guess you could say like the monkey paw curling anytime she did anything. It's like, oh yeah, you can get a nice little park for that mother and daughter. They're just gonna die in a sinkhole from it. No big deal.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I really liked how it touched on that side of things, and it showed her like building those construction sites and then being like, but she actually like doesn't have any construction experience, so she doesn't like that wouldn't actually hold up under any like structural integrity, you know?
Yeah, she still has to have like the mental like place. Yeah, it makes sense on that side of things. I do like that they continue. Did you see like the Adam Eve like origin special?
Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone that didn't watch it, it's like same Invincible style, but it's all about Adam Eve, how she got her powers, kind of her whole origin, and kind of expands upon her home life a little bit. If you're curious as to why her dad is the worst, that is never explained necessarily. He's just a piece of shit. Just by every framing of the word, that dude is the worst. And he doesn't know it. He's completely oblivious to the fact that he's the worst.
Yeah, it really makes you feel for Adam Eve. And she's like, I feel like one of the best characters in the show.
I was a bit surprised. Obviously the show kind of deviates from the comics, but it stays like fairly close to it. And I know like general plot points of the comics, but I don't know like the exact like storylines or anything like that. I've only really read the comics up until like the season 1. So I was a bit surprised that we got Amber, just because like since they were kind of deviating from things and kind of how her reception was, I almost kind of felt like she was just gonna get like take it off to the side and just forgotten about. As we got into the new season, they would focus more on Eve and Mark, but they're not doing that, which is subverting my expectations, and I'm interested to see where they go with it, because I don't necessarily have the same vitriolic hate for her as certain corners of the internet does, but she's just like a strangely written character, almost to the point where she knows that she's unrealistic in a sense, but I'm really enjoying that side of things, the kind of dynamics of their friend group. One of the better written ones I think we've gotten out of like a high school comic book story, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And a couple different notes that I had was that opening scene was very much like Amazing Spider-Man 2. I felt like, except done way better because it was like Mark trying to get to his graduation, but also trying to go solve a crime. But I thought that was really good.
I had a similar thought. It's just like, this is kind of just the best Spider-Man Peter Parker story we've ever gotten.
Yeah, exactly. I had that exact same thought. And love the title card, the breaking of the title card instead of the blood splattering on it, because I'm pretty sure that's how one of the volumes of the graphic novel was. And I like how they're like adapting that to be like the title card for each season.
Yeah. I guess since I said Spider-Man, do you think they're leaning pretty heavy into this multiverse stuff? There was famously a Spider-Man Invincible crossover. There was a little bit of a tease on the social media, but do you think that's something that could happen with Sony's involvement?
So the thing is if it's longer than 30 minutes, Amazon has the TV rights to Spider-Man.
Oh.
So that's another reason why people think that why it could happen. So all these things like could make a possibility of him showing up, but I just don't see how it would fit into the story.
I don't know. There's a little smoke there in 30 minutes. Like, I don't know. Does the entire episode have to be 30 minutes
just 30? Just the episode has to be 30 minutes.
Okay. So, I mean, you could do a part 1 and a part 2, where the part 1 is just no Spider-Man, part 2 has Spider-Man. They could definitely do it. They could definitely work around some stuff.
Yeah. So there was a reportedly like a Phil Lord and Chris Miller Silk show that was going to be headed to Amazon. But I don't think that's moving forward. But yeah, Amazon owns the rights to long period Spider-Man TV series. And the actor for Spectacular Spider-Man is in the cast list for season 2.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was also like they put out it was like a screenshot where one of the characters had a phone, and on the phone was a pixelated version of the Spider-Man Invincible like crossover cover. So they're heavily hinting it, but I could almost see them just doing like if they have the rights, doing a cameo and then maybe teasing that crossover for later down the road.
Yeah.
I just think they would want some more promos, some more hype behind it.
True.
Than
People
just a
random
weekly drop. Like, I think, oh yeah, it's Spider-Man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But 2 episodes in, we're getting a few different plot points about the future villains of the show, who may be kind of showing up in later episodes, and I think they do one of the best jobs in television of like kind of building that up. So when it comes around, you're not like, oh, who's this villain of the week kind of thing. Yeah,
definitely. And Ben Schwartz, voice of Sonic, great addition as the alien, like the shape-shifting alien guy.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good in it.
So maybe you could clarify for me, because I didn't really I understood it. I understand that he's a Martian. I get that side of things. Is he evil?
I think he is evil. I think he's like trying to like infiltrate, because he's like totally not an alien, totally normal dude here, like trying to make me join your team. So it definitely makes me seem like something's up with him.
Yeah. And I was kind of wondering, and I'm glad they went that route, why he wouldn't just like go be a superhero, having those abilities, and knowing that like the Martian man dude was a superhero in this universe. I guess he didn't know that though until he saw the news report. So
yeah,
interesting stuff.
Yeah,
they're setting up. I will say, the Guardians of the Globe roster getting pretty large.
Yeah, very large.
It's a large roster. I don't know if they have a limit on things, or to me it almost seems like they're setting up for a lot of people are going to die.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be like a bloodbath, and we haven't really had one since that first episode of season 1. So kind of feels like we're setting up for that again, where they might kill off a few, but could be interesting.
Yeah. No, I look forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah. But you don't have to look forward to any more seasons of Loki, Trent.
That's facts.
That's facts, because it's over. It's done and gone. And maybe Tom Hiddleston's last role in the MCU, although I doubt it.
Yeah.
He said that this was the end for the character or whatever, but let's be real. They said that about 1 million times with Tony Stark, and we're probably gonna get another Tony Stark story. Like, let's be real. It's gonna happen. So we had the finale. It was about an hour long. Before I started watching it, for some reason, I don't know, Disney Plus kind of just profounds me. Sometimes it'll just put me back on season 1. I don't know why. I think it's because like multiple people use the account, and then someone will watch the last episode that it throws me all the way back. So I first watched the first 5 minutes of the season 1 finale, and then started the season 2 finale. I found it interesting of note that the season 1 finale was 15 minutes shorter than the season 2 finale. So they at least gave us those 15 minutes to kind of tie some things up and go through that. So why don't you kind of take us through the start of the episode, where we had Loki kind of trying to fix things and how he went about that.
So yeah, he was finally learned to control his time slipping, and he was jumping back and forth trying to... he was trying to go back in time to make them go into the big reactor to put the thing in there, right? Or was that the episode before?
Yeah, see, half of this is because I want to stop talking, so I asked Trent. The other half is I'm testing it to see if he remembers. But no, he was like, okay, I need to go back and fix it. And then they were like, oh, what did I do wrong, OB? He was like, well, we needed to do this earlier. So he goes back all the way to the first... Yeah, well, the first initial time that they were like, hey, we're going to do this. And he says, how long would it take for me to learn and have your understanding of this stuff so I could do it myself? And he says centuries. So he takes centuries in, I guess, the time that has already happened before
kind of like
this.
a Groundhog Day situation.
Yeah, real Groundhog Day situation going on. And he just kind of learns all about these mechanical whatever quantum mechanics, and he eventually comes back knowing everything he needs to know, and he does everything over and over again, and it's kind of insinuated that he's done this more times than they show, and he's been doing this for centuries, like a real Dormammu I've come to bargain situation. And he finally gets it, does everything perfectly, and then finds out, hey, yeah, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, I love how he's like, don't drop it. He's like, whatever you do, don't set the loom down. And then he like goes to set it down, and he's like, wait, I gotta pick it back up.
It will roll off, which I kind of wish we got the maybe a post credit scene of that event of it rolling off, and his reaction to that. I bet that was. Would have been comedic, but what they did show us was after he realizes there's no multiplying by infinite, which I was thinking the whole time, and I probably could have told him before he spent thousands of years. Like, you're building a multiplier to multiply the output, but you're not setting a limit on the output. So like you're just gonna need infinite amounts of multipliers. So it does work for a little bit until it reaches that throughput, and then it explodes again. So got to come up with a different solution. So he goes back to when him and Sylvie killed He Who Remains, and he's trying to figure that out, how to stop her. And she uses the line that she uses in season 1 that she repeats, that you'll have to kill me to stop me. And they keep teasing it like, oh, is he going to kill her? Is he finally going to be like, the only way I can stop this is by killing her? And there's a pretty cool moment with He Who Remains where he pauses time and he's like, oh, so how long have you been at this? Because they kind of have a similar power set and an understanding. And he learns that, Loki's a bit more powerful than he thought because he has no concept of time at this point.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where Loki really is left with no options. He has to either kill Sylvie or just figure it out. And he just figured it out. Said, hold up, let me get on my god shenanigans.
Let me grow some big horns.
Let me grow some big horns and just walk down this ramp. And I thought this was the solution from the beginning, because like when Timely gets spaghettied, I'm just thinking, okay, well, Loki never gets spaghettied. So why doesn't Loki just go out there and do it? And we know now that the multiplier wouldn't have worked and all that stuff, but probably would have saved him a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But he said, screw it. I'm going to just, walk out there, grow some big horns, and turn this shit green, I guess.
Yeah. Hold the timelines together for all of eternity.
So then he goes through and kind of all the timelines are dying for some reason. I'm guessing because there's no one to like watch over them, or
they're just going haywire. They're just like,
yeah. So he grabs every single timeline and he walks up a staircase to where He Who Remains throne is. That is now just kind of this rock. And as he's doing it, he's pulling all these branches up, and he takes his spot on the throne, and they give us this wide shot where it looks like kind of the Norse mythology tree of life. Which is now, I'm guessing, the new analogy for the multiverse is it's this tree with all these branches. And at the center of it is Loki, who remains. And I imagine we will probably get a appearance from him in Secret Wars. Yeah. And we also did get kind of a Secret Wars drop where they said like there will be a war like unlike any other.
Yeah, multiversal war. So we got definitely headed towards that. Like, and I don't think that there's any way Loki's not gonna be a part of that.
Yeah, no, there's just no chance. They're trying to be sly by saying it's his last time. Like, oh, don't expect him to show up. He's gonna show up. Come on now. Secret Wars. And he's like the multiversal god in this, or maybe he would be too powerful, but I don't know about that.
I read some theories that maybe they're setting up the different beings. So Loki's time, Wanda died, so maybe she's magic, or maybe she's I forget what they said that, but maybe they're building to have like these like 5 beings that are just like the most powerful beings, because that's how it is in the comics. They had like I don't know if it's the Beyonder or somebody like that, but like during the Infinity War comics, like these beings come in and they're like yo, like stop messing with the flow of everything. Like we're actually in control of this, and you need to stop. So
yeah, and that could be them, or it could just be Loki saying, hey, you need to chill.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'd get some great moments there with like Thor and all of that. So I imagine Thor will be there. He'll probably be there. Yeah. There was a Quantumania reference in there where they said there was a variant on a 616 adjacent realm being the quantum verse, or what it's called?
The quantum realm?
Know. The quantum realm. So they talked about that a little bit. They said, but they handled it, so we got nothing to worry about. But I think they got something to worry about, because I remember seeing an after credit scene where there was like a giant stadium full of Kangs. So maybe they should look into that.
Yeah, a literal army of Kangs. So that's definitely something to worry about.
It must have hit a TVA blind spot there.
Yeah. As well as like, I feel like we still haven't, if you remember back to the Deadpool 2 post-credit scene, he did some time traveling too that may have fucked up some timelines there. Went back and killed baby Hitler. Went back and did some other things.
Yeah, and we'll probably talk about that more when we get into the Marvels. But I think you bringing up the fact that Wanda died. I think she's gonna stay dead. At least the 616 Wanda that we've known this whole time. I'm willing to bet that she stays dead, and the reason for that is just I think they want to give her like a, I guess, more proper backstory. So they're probably going to bring in a like alternate universe Wanda that's like been with her brother this whole time, and they'll like bring them in together again, would be my thinking. And then she'll be a bit more like villainous rather than the, I guess 616 Wanda got villainous towards the end, but it was kind of out of left field. The Wanda that we knew for the majority was like trying to be heroic, and I think you'll get probably a more developed, where they'll basically just be pulling like a comic version of them.
Yeah,
I could see that happening, and just keeping 616 dead. But who knows? Who knows? Speaking of 616, though, we got a movie in the main timeline.
Yep.
Which I guess all of the movies take place in the main timeline for the most part, or yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
So just start off. We'll not get into spoilers just yet because this movie did just come out, and judging by the box office numbers, you probably didn't see it. But Trent, how did you like the movie?
I think me and the 5 people that were in my theater last night enjoyed the. I mean, we all seem to have a good time. You know, there's a lot of stuff going online, and there's a lot of like hate that this movie's getting, but I don't think that it's as bad as everyone is putting it out to be. There's some really enjoyable stuff in it. There's some really fun moments. There's some moments where like it was like kind of reaching towards some Malekith vibes. You know what I'm talking about, but for the most part, I enjoyed it, and there's a lot to like about it, I think.
Yeah, I think I will say, yeah, I probably didn't need a villain. Probably could have just done no villain. She's fine. I just don't think, I don't even know her name. Female Ronan the Accuser comes in with something that looks like the Power Stone that is never elaborated on ever. That's her character. And at first I thought it was going to be revealed to be the Power Stone that she got from a different universe or something, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It's just a really strong hammer.
Yeah, just energy weapon that she can just touch against her gauntlet, apparently.
Yeah.
Just charge it.
Overall, my feelings were pretty similar. I thought it was a pretty good movie in terms of like watchability. It was probably my favorite MCU movie in a minute. Like, I liked Black Panther 2, but this one didn't drag at any points for me. I think Black Panther 2 definitely drags when they're in like the city. I think it's Chicago. When they're in like the American cities, it gets pretty slow for me.
Yeah.
And then Quantumania has its issues, and I can't even think of
Guardians
if another
good,
movie.
That's
Guardians is good. Yeah. That's not counting Guardians. It's a super enjoyable movie, and it doesn't feel like another MCU movie to me. To me, it feels kind of like a classic girls comedy. In the vein of like, just the girls going out and doing wacky shit, and they build nice camaraderie between them, and you get a bit of team building, you get a bit of just goofs and gaffs. There's some random scenes where randomly they're just on a planet where some of the people can only understand you if you sing. Which I don't get, because to me that's more of a cadence rather than a language. Like, that's more of a delivery rather than a language.
Yeah.
But I I digress. It's a silly space movie, and you get a lot of silly space stuff, and I enjoyed it. I really did. I liked all of the goose stuff, all the little kittens. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything groundbreaking, but it's a super fun movie, and it's not like overstaying its welcome with runtime. So,
yeah, I think this is one of the shortest MCU movies that's come out.
Yeah, especially
and
the recent ones.
Yeah, and you could really feel it. I feel like the movie, like, there's some scenes where I felt like it needed more. Like, I felt like it needed a little bit more room to breathe, you know?
And it's almost like it was a lot of the stuff for me. It feels like they cut a lot of the, like if I were to guess, it feels like they cut Solo, Carol stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they were just like, oh, we need to just make this about the Marvels.
Mm-hmm.
Just the Marvels.
Yeah.
Rather than about her. And I think she's a lot more likable in this movie than she was in the first one, because, like, while I like Captain Marvel as a movie, I can understand she's not the most likable character thing. She gives just like vibes. So I could understand it, even though it made sense in the context of the movie. I think this one she plays a lot better. And then her relationship with Monica has some nuance to it. I think that needed more time.
Yeah.
I think they kind of just glossed over that, as well as Miss Marvel's relationship and kind of just her feelings about being in space, because I feel like she took it very well.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, now I'm in space.
Yeah. And there was like a point in the movie where, like, it became obvious that like Miss Marvel was there, or Kamala was there for Captain Marvel, and Monica was there for Carol. And it was like, they just like move on from things so fast, it seemed like, in the movie. Like, it was like, oh, that, like, this is like the main reason why you're all here. Now let's go do another thing.
Yeah, and that's a great observation. That, like, feels like what they were trying to do was this balance of Carol's life and being Captain Marvel and being, you know, Aunt Carol and just being a normal person. And you had a perfect setup where you have, like, someone who idolizes her Captain Marvel persona, and then someone that, you know, resents her for her actions as Carol. Like, you could have done a lot more with that.
Yeah.
And we kind of just get, like, a few just random moments, and then at the end she just gives Kamala's family her house. She's just like, hey, she's gone. Here's her house. Congrats.
I guess fuck all of her friends in Jersey too.
Yeah, fuck her friends in Jersey. Fuck. just here's this new house in Louisiana, and they're all just stoked about it. They're like, yeah. Louisiana.
Yeah. And their house is completely destroyed. Let's hop into some spoilers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've already been dancing around them for sure. But Monica, Carol, and Kamala, they decide they need to, you know, stop her finally. And the villain decides, oh, I'm going to take the sun, like our sun, like the solar system sun above Earth, which is conveniently not super affected by having some of its, like, sunness taken away from it. Like, they just were sucking away gas for like 20 minutes. Didn't really affect it. We got a good sun here in the Milky Way.
Yeah, nice young sun.
Nice young sun was able to bulk that. But also, like, what was she gonna do? She was just gonna slowly,
that's what I don't get. Like, does it just
sun
dissolve the energy from that universe and just go into this one, and then the sun just automatically absorbs it?
How did she know it was the proper distance away? And, like, how would it have rotated? How would the orbits have worked?
Yeah.
Were you pulling, like, the sun's gas and stuff into your dying sun, which we'll get into later, which I was To me, that was probably the worst part of the movie to me in terms of writing. Was how the Kree's home planet Hala's sun was reignited by Captain Marvel at the end.
Yeah, she didn't think of that the whole time.
She didn't think of that at all, and like there was no consequences to her doing it. She just flew away.
Yeah.
So like she could have done that at any point and saved so many relations.
Yeah.
But she didn't, and that's kind of how she ended up in her situation where our sun is getting pulled into the abyss. It turns out the entire key was the bangles, the bangles, the bracelets from Miss Marvel that she went back in time with, and I guess there was a lot of questions about how she altered the past in time travel, because there was like, oh, she shouldn't have been able to do that. But like they're cosmic bands.
Yeah.
Get over it. They're just cosmic bands, bro. So it's just cosmic bands. She has one cosmic band. Enemy has the other cosmic band. They let her get the cosmic band super easy. Like they know that they could end the world, but then they're just like, well, I guess.
And she still uses her powers to switch right next to where she is.
And also they have those switching powers, right? And then the way she was able to get the bangle is just by stepping on Kamala's head, putting like the hammer against her head, and was like, you make a move, I'll kill her. Why wouldn't they just use their powers in that situation, switch, and then like do some weird
that's also true.
Like it feels like the switching power just like was there for set pieces, but it wasn't there for actual like choreography almost.
Yeah. Like I felt like another part was when they were on that they were on the Kree planet and they were trying to save all those people, and Kamala realized that they couldn't save everybody, but there could have been a thing where like Kamala was trying to use her powers, switching to Captain Marvel would have to save them instead of Miss Marvel, and then like they would like build some tension between them. I don't know, I feel like there could have been a lot more that they could have done with the use of the powers.
Yeah, but she ends up opening this, like ripping time and space open to a different universe. And then they're like, wait, you don't have to do this. Captain Marvel could just fly into your sun. Don't you want to just do that?
Yeah.
It's so much easier than this. You don't even know how to move a sun. Have you ever relocated a sun? I haven't. It's got to be difficult. And then it opens. They decide they have to work together to close it using all three of their abilities. Monica, they're going to shoot Monica with the power. She's going to absorb the power, and then she's going to go close it. She's going to go on the other side to close it, though, because that's where it's like kind of opening. So she goes on the other side, and she's closing it, and she's like, you're not going to make it through. You're not going to make it. And then she doesn't make it. Captain Marvel's all sad, because not only did she lose her best friend, she then lost her best friend's daughter, who was like a family to her, the last family she's had. And now she's just there with Kamala, who is the new last family she has, I guess, in that transferable property. And also literal giving her transferable property in the shape of Monica's
I wonder
home.
if that was Carol's house or if that was Monica's house. Because I think did Carol own the house?
That's a good point. Carol might have owned that. Well, I think Monica's mom,
she told Carol to take care of Monica. So maybe she's like, you can take care of her. You can keep my house.
So yeah, fun stuff. I'm very interested in the house, but we're all assuming that Monica's in a different universe, and they live happily ever after as Captain Marvel goes and takes like 2 seconds to go reignite the sun on Hala. So Hala's got water they got Air, and they got a son now. So big W for Hala all around. I think that will probably be a location in a future movie for sure. And then we get the post-credit stinger, Trent.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Talking about the first one, I feel like was not really even a post-credit scene, but we'll talk about it. We get Kamala kind of giving her best Nick Fury impression to Kate Bishop and Lucky the Pizza Dog. It was a great scene.
Yeah, no, it's a fun scene. I just don't like. It just doesn't make sense time-wise. Like, and she kind of says it like, I'm an adult. Like, what do you mean, kid Avenger? Like, kid superhero? Yeah,
that's very
like
true.
I'm an adult.
Not really, and they're not really young Avengers.
They acknowledge it. I hope they play into more of a young adult Avengers kind of aspect.
Just a new Avengers.
Yeah, we don't need kid Avengers. You're just not gonna get it time wise unless you de-age people, which doesn't make any sense. Because like, what at this point, what Scarlett Johansson was like 24 when she when they filmed the first like Avengers and Iron Man movies.
Yeah,
like
and Haley Steinfeld's literally like older.
Yeah. So, like, by the time they would film, like, most of the cast is going to be older or around the same age as the original Avengers cast. Like, in their late 20s to 30s. And, like, they could pass for their young 20s, but they can't pass for 15-year-olds anymore. So they really got to get that figured out if they do decide they want to do that.
And, like, they're going to have, like, there's not very many, like, young people to add on to the team, right? Like there's maybe like 4 or 5 of them. Are we counting Shang-Chi? He's not really like young.
Yeah, like... no. I think Shang-Chi's definitely like gonna be main. I think you would be looking at like the kid Hulk that showed up at the end of She-Hulk.
Yeah.
You'd be looking at like
Thor's daughter.
the Star Girl from Multiverse of Madness.
Oh yeah, America Chavez.
Yeah, so she'll be there.
I got the kids, the WandaVision kids. Oh wait, no, they're in a different dimension. They disappeared.
Well, they'll bring them in. They'll definitely bring them in, and that's one that you could recast and have younger kids if you want. So that would work.
Yeah.
And then you have Cassie. There's plenty. They've been setting it up, but they've been doing it so slowly that it's like, and they haven't even announced this movie that they're now teasing in other movies. So like, I don't see how this project's less than 4 years down the line.
Yeah.
And I don't see how that makes any sense unless you're saying like Kamala and Kate are like the leaders and they're going to be like in their mid-20s leading a group of like high schoolers. I can see that.
Yeah.
But also wildly irresponsible. But tell us about the next stinger that is our scene that's a bit better.
So
not better, but
end the movie assuming that Monica died or Monica's stuck in another dimension. One of the two.
Just floating in space somewhere.
Yeah, she's floating in space. So we get her waking up in a like a medical bay, and she wakes up right next to her mom. So we're assuming that it's in a different dimension, not the dimension that we saw in Multiverse of Madness, because she was killed there. Another interesting tidbit that she was like, I would never want to be Captain Marvel, when like there's literally that other dimension where she did become Captain Marvel. But yeah, she wakes up, she sees what's Maria Rambeau, and then she looks around and sees Beast from the X-Men, see Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, just like that. And it feels like it almost confirms, like, especially because they show the door, and like the door is like very much like 2000s X-Men door to me.
And he says Charles.
Yeah, they heavily insinuate that this is the Fox universe that we're seeing, I feel. Even though the designs are a bit different, and obviously we never had Maria in the last one, but I think this one's, they're definitely insinuating that, so we'll probably get the First Class cast then?
No, the original cast. Because Kelsey Grammer was on the original team.
You don't think that? Oh yeah, because we're gonna get Hugh Jackman, so they're gonna want to have the original X-Men cast.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And Sir Patrick Stewart was already in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna do this, because like you assume they're gonna want to do X-Men movies, and I'm thinking that this like scene is just a setup for Secret Wars. Like this definitely feels like, hey, this is our first step into the Secret Wars. Like, setup.
That's true. Yeah,
like it's gonna be the Fox universe, and it's gonna be the MCU, and then we're probably gonna get some Raimi and web universe stuff as well. So, but I think those will be the two main universes. So like, how do they do this in the sense of, if they want to do a Wolverine movie, are they just going to do a Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie?
I think it's gonna be real convoluted. I feel like it's gonna be like, we're gonna do this. Here's all the movies that you liked before, but also we want to restart from the ground up because those other movies messed up these storylines, and we want to tell these. Just please, for God, please don't do another Dark Phoenix movie. We don't need it.
Just one more time, Trent. We gotta try it one more time. It should be interesting how it plays out. It's almost not worth speculating, because I feel like the success of movies definitely like just changes what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like if the next few projects don't do well, I could definitely see them just moving into Secret Wars is a hard reboot. Like, we're gonna just hard reboot the franchise here.
Yeah.
But if they have like some momentum going, I could see them continuing with their plans, because I think their plans is to continue this universe. They want it to keep going. It just really does seem like, due to reception, which I've always pushed back on a little bit, and just in terms of the reasons people dislike it, and I think I'm gonna get a little political and controversial here. I do think that the MCU, in terms of social issues, did do a bit too fast, in the sense of what the Western world was ready for, because like they're very aware of overseas markets like China, and editing out the black characters from movie posters, putting a mask on T'Challa for the Captain America or for the Black Panther movie poster. So they're very in tune with those international markets, but they don't really seem to have any gauge on the domestic market, in the sense of they made a universe where they had, 3 movies series of just like all white dudes, and they built a universe and they built a fan base cultivating that. And then they were like, hey, we're going to do the all new, all different, which I love a lot of those characters. But when you kind of just show that to a general audience, I think they struggled with its understanding a little bit more, and just having any like idea who these characters were. To them, they were just gender swapping and changing characters' races willy-nilly, even though they were characters in the comics, and their storylines made sense in canon. But I think it really just comes down to they just did a little bit too much too quick, and they got a lot of pushback for it, and they lost a lot of the fan base that they cultivated in the first 2 phases. Because when I hear people say that the quality has dropped off on the MCU, I don't see it. I don't see how the Marvels is that much worse than a Dark Thor or a First Avenger or anything like that. To me, they are very similar in quality. Like, I know what a really good movie is, and a lot of those aren't really good movies, but we got to the point where those are so celebrated, and the new stuff coming out is considered so bad in just I guess corporate, when it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Now people just don't like it because they're sour to the idea of, just the MCU and how the business of the MCU is ran.
Yeah. I think a part of that is just like the saturation of market almost. Because there's just so much content out there and so much, like, especially superhero stuff recently, that like sometimes it could feel like Marvel's not doing anything new or different. And there's like certainly cases where I feel like the quality has dropped off, but that's not any like case of like
Secret Invasion
and Quantumania specifically. But it just felt like there wasn't love behind the project,
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is just what they've done with how they hire their directors as well. Like, because obviously there is the like social justice aspect of it that I think is just kind of overblown in terms of I don't think that's really what's affecting box office numbers at all. We've seen that. I think it is just general interest in the movies and kind of just feeling like you already know what you're going to get from a Marvel movie. So why go out to the theater to watch this thing that you already know how it's going to feel? And I don't feel like that was the case with the Marvels. And I think that they unfortunately just got a bit of the pushback from what Quantumania was and what Secret Wars was. I think Secret Wars probably did more harm than anything because it really was meant to lead into this.
Yeah,
like this Secret Wars into the Marvels. Nothing
did not exist in the
Secret
canon
Wars
of the stories.
Secret Wars, when you're thinking about the entire story of the MCU, is pointless.
Yeah,
it's so unbelievably pointless. And like they had such a cool story with the Skrulls, and they just botched it so bad.
And you couldn't keep Ben Mendelsohn alive one more fucking movie for him to show up in the Marvels.
Oh my god, he would have been so good in the Marvels.
Yeah.
Like why did we have to waste him on Secret Invasion? I would have preferred that Secret Invasion just didn't happen, or it happened later. Like because Skrulls still exist in the universe. They're still kicking around. They're still refugees. They're still bouncing around everywhere.
Yeah.
Why did we waste one of the coolest storylines on this half-baked I think that really is the key for me, is just how bad Secret Wars was, and I've been struggling with that one ever since. It really hurt like my feelings towards the current state of the MCU, especially when there's just a character that's now like more powerful than anybody, that looks goofy as hell with a Drax arm.
Yeah. Yes.
But I would recommend seeing the Marvels. I'd recommend seeing it in theaters. I think it's a good theater movie. Go start swiping on Tinder, find first nerdy girl you can find and be like, let's go see the Marvels together, and have yourself a good time. It's literally one of the most enjoyable like cinema experiences I've had in a little bit, just because of how short it was. I'm not a fan of long movies in the theater. Yeah. So shout out for being short. Shout out for being paced like a 9-year-old on cocaine. I enjoyed that. And I will watch, what was the director's name?
Nia DaCosta. Nia
oh yeah. DaCosta. She's one of the, because she's like, the MCU gets a lot of hate now just for hiring no-name directors and stuff, which, fair enough. They're very scared of giving anyone a, like, with a name. I think they're just having trouble getting directors with names, because directors with names don't want to be attached to MCU projects at this point.
Yeah.
But I think they really got to just let the they need to let the reins go on these movies and start just hiring wacky directors, good directors that are going to do weird stuff with the characters. because who cares if you need to retcon something? Who cares if the movie that they made isn't 100% in line with your universal vision? Just make a good movie, and you can retcon all you want. You do it all the time. Like, if we're gonna be retconning and just making bullshit up as we go on with our cosmic bands, then why not just make good movies in the meantime?
Yeah. Totally agree.
But yeah, that was the Marvels. Make sure you watch it at some point, as I'm sure it'll have bearings on Secret Wars and all of that great stuff. And shout out Nia DaCosta for doing a pretty good job with what I imagine she was given. I think in terms of a movie that I've heard about like crazy amounts of reshoots for, it didn't show too much. Like I said, it's paced like an insane person, but it doesn't scream as a movie that's just incohesive. It still is a cohesive thing. So shout out to her for making a cohesive movie through all adversity.
Yeah. So, but you want me to give you some headlines, Ty?
Yeah, we got I imagine some of these will include what we just talked about.
Yep. So
what do we got?
The first headline was that Marvel's pushing back some movies. I don't know if you saw this, but so next year, only getting one Marvel movie.
Okay.
So we're getting Deadpool next year in July. And then after that, we won't get another Marvel movie until February of 2025 with Captain America 4, Harrison Ford. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we got the Fantastic Four in May. So those are the next 3 MCU projects to look forward to.
That's interesting. So, yeah, one summer blockbuster. And I mean, it's probably a good thing. A lot of people will chalk this up to the movies being bad, but it's really just the actor strike. It was the actor-writer strike really did affect the production on a lot of these things. And the fact that we're getting Deadpool is pretty cool. Probably just due to the fact that the writer is also the lead. So that helps out. Yeah.
And I think that with these movies like Deadpool, it's like the first 2 Deadpool movies were relatively low budget with like, I feel like not a lot of post time compared to your big Avengers, your big Captain America, where you have to CGI Hulk or CGI flying into it. But I think that this just gives the movies hopefully more time to be in post production and more time to get stuff figured out on their end.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised we're gonna get Fantastic Four before Secret Wars, and I imagine the reason they're doing that is it's gonna lead almost directly into Secret Wars.
Yeah,
which I have mixed feelings about for sure, because like I almost just want a Marvel Studios Fantastic Four movie to just be a Marvel Studios Fantastic Four movie. And if it's has the job of setting up Secret Wars, I do worry it could distract from that.
Yeah.
But we'll just see how they do it.
See how it goes. So on to the next headline. So our favorite actor, Jeremy Allen White. I don't know if you've seen this headline. So there's an article that came out, and apparently he sat down with Marvel. He sat down with a Marvel executive. He said it didn't go as he planned because here's the quote. He said, "I had a meeting for a kind of Marvel-y movie, and I had an attitude. I think I played it all wrong." He said, "Tell me why I should do your movie." He essentially went in there and was like, "Tell me why I should care about your movies." And then they told him essentially just to fuck off. So I thought that was really funny.
I did too. I love Jeremy Allen White headlines. They're always just fucking funny for some reason. He gives good sound bites, but more importantly, I don't think this was actually Marvel, because I don't think he would have said Marvel-y movie unless it's, to me, it's 2 things. It's one, it's a Sony movie, and he got approached. He got approached for like Morbius. I could totally see them approaching
Kraven the Hunter
Morbius. Yeah, something like that, where they were like, hey, we want you to be the Scorpion. And he's like, what are you talking about, dude?
I'm not going to be El Muerto, okay, guys?
We want you to be Secret Agent Spy Ben Parker. Like, what the fuck are you on about? Or it's like a DC / like Transformers property where that's why he's using the term Marvelly. I don't think he would have said Marvelly if he was literally speaking to someone from Marvel Studios.
That's true.
I just don't think he would. So like, I'm just thinking about, I mean, it's a funny thought because, you know, the studio executive or the casting director that brought him in was not expecting him to say anything like that. Probably just expected him to be like, oh yeah, I'd love to be in this $100 million movie. But that's not how Jaw rolls, dude.
Yeah.
The Jaw is law. You gotta get with it, bro.
Yeah. So love to see that. And the last headline I got for you. So apparently there's this movie that was made by Warner Brothers called Wile E. Coyote versus Acme. Acme is apparently the name of the Roadrunner. Didn't know that. But or maybe it's ACME. Maybe it's an organization. But in the movie. But so the movie was filmed a year ago. Got really good early press views. Starring John Cena and produced by James Gunn. It was like a mix between 2D animation and live action. So it's kind of like a Roger Rabbit situation. But apparently Warner Brothers just canned it, same as Batgirl. They just out of existence, just deleted it. And so everyone was pretty pissed about that. There's a lot of online backlash, people saying like why, like it's literally getting good reviews. They're literally saying like this is like the best movie of its kind since Roger Rabbit came out, but they're just like they just deleted it. But apparently, as of like a couple of days ago, Warner Brothers is allowing the director to like shop it around to different streaming services.
Hey, that's a dub. I imagine it'll be a big success when it finally does come out.
Yeah,
as a story like that is something that will give you legs. For something like that, as well as first off, we got to get the Warner Brothers tax guy on the show. I got questions for him. I like how much is this really saving, rather
apparently
than just like
$30 million for that tax write off.
I mean, shit, I would do the same thing. Sorry, Lost Media. That's just how we're gonna have to do it. They gotta figure that out because I think it's pretty silly that there's like media that people work really, really hard on, and this is far from a hot take. This is like the most base lukewarm take you could have, but these people work really hard on this movie. The writers, directors, actors, obviously, and they have no stake in the financial aspect of it, as most of them have already been paid. And they did their work, and they just want to see it, and they want other people to be able to see it. But because of some stupid tax bullshit, that they just don't get the opportunity to do so. So, you know, I'm really, really hoping. What did you say it was called?
It's called Wile E. Coyote versus Acme.
Okay, so it sounds fire. I wonder how the rights work with that, since it is like a very much.
I think since they own the rights, they probably can sign off on like the distributing rights for that specific movie.
Just release it. It's fucking John Cena.
Give it to Apple TV or something.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, I guess let's just get into the movies that have actually come out, like No Hard Feelings, which you tasked me with watching last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it. I knew it'd probably be a movie I would enjoy. I saw a good 20 seconds of it, of her beating the fuck out of some kids naked on a beach, but I didn't get to hear it with sound. And holy shit, is it so much better with fucking Maneater playing in the background.
Oh yeah.
And the Maneater song in general, having the legs that it does, I guess I can get into spoilers for No Hard Feelings. There's not really any big spoilers.
Really
it's No Hard Feelings. Go watch No Hard Feelings. It's a good movie. Jennifer Lawrence is great in it. You get to see a lot of her, range in the sense it's not a character she generally plays. Obviously, she'll play the bruh girl every once in a while, but she's the kind of, I don't want to say unattractive, because she's definitely seen as attractive in the movie, but she's seen as like a mess. She is a mess, and she gets involved with this Craigslist post about a free car to, that's 40,000 miles on it. They never explain why it has 40,000 miles on it. I want to know. You don't buy a Buick, put 40,000 on it, and then just park it in a garage. You just don't do that. So there's like a joke at one point where he says, "Oh yeah, my granddad shot himself in the car," and I thought that was true. Like as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh, that's why it has 40,000 miles, because he got 40,000 miles and was done living." And she goes ahead and gets involved with this so that she can pay her bills, so she doesn't have to move because she's so scared of moving on. Oh no. And you get hijinks and her trying to have sex with this 19-year-old kid who doesn't really want to have sex with her. I really enjoyed it. It's almost a rom-com, but it's not really a rom-com. It's kind of just a comedy. Yeah. And there's also just like this really beautiful rendition of Maneater on the piano where it's so good. I was just like listening to it and I was like, I hope they do the full song. I hope this doesn't get interrupted because I'm fucking loving this. Yeah. It's like a piano cover of Maneater.
I don't know if part of the movie too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's sung by. Is it sung by that guy?
Yeah, he's a Broadway. Dude. He's like a Broadway actor. Andrew Barth Feldman. He's so good.
Andrew Barth. Wait, is it AB? I was trying to get him a cool Jaw nickname, but Andrew I don't think so.
ABF.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, he kills this rendition. It's generally, if you don't want to watch this movie, if you're like, I'm not really into these, go listen to that just out of context. It is so good. Genuinely so good. And there's a lot of nice scenes in it. It's a heartwarming movie. It's a movie that makes you feel good while also giving you a few laughs at people's expense. I'd say it's the perfect movie to watch if you had a bad day, because no hard feelings,
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, so I'm really liking this kind of back and forth past the movie thing we got going on.
Yeah, I like it too.
Really gives me like a chance to just watch something that I don't necessarily want to watch, and I have to task myself for the show. Not that I didn't want to watch it, but just like finding time. Like I watched that at 9 p.m. yesterday. I never will just turn on a movie while sitting in my office chair and watch it at 9 p.m., but I did for this one, and I don't regret it in the slightest. So great recommendation there. And for you, I have a nice little marvel of special effects. It is probably one of the best shot movies of the last 5 years, maybe ever. I'm giving it that high of praise. It's Nope.
Okay.
So Nope, as people listening have probably known, because it's like a film movie. Like when you're telling the story of movies, you got to talk about Nope. Keke Palmer is in it. You got Daniel Pereira in it. Jordan Peele directing, of course. He's done great, kind of horror thrillers in the past with Us and Get Out. This is Nope. And Nope has the greatest night scenes you'll ever see. It has some of the greatest, like, just portrayal of... I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't know how much you know about this movie, so I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't want to give too much away.
Stephen Yeun's in it, and he wears a cowboy hat.
Oh, is that all you know about the monkey?
No, I know. I think I know about the monkey.
Yeah, there's a nice little monkey scene in there. There's a couple nice little monkey scenes in there, so
I look forward to it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I want to thank everybody for watching. That's going to be our show for today. We'll be back next week with more Invincible, with some fun stuff about Nope, as well as whatever else we want to get into that week. So yeah, got any parting words for us, Trent?
Nope. Thanks for listening, and I hope you tune in next week. And I hope you enjoyed. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Go watch some Jeremy Allen White movies.
Do it.
Actually, do it. Deuces.
Deuces.